everyone, and welcome to this month's Academy Day, the first one after Gen Con. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Before we go around and say hello to this fantastic cast and crew, let's take a moment to look at our opening links. In these links, you can find all of the things, including merch, places to find. We put some new merch in this week, that's why that's, again, up top. Discord, all the Twitters, all the places you can find us, interact with us and our community, contact us, and all of that good stuff. Also find information about our sponsors, Bird and the Storm Publishing and Mage Hand Press, and we're very grateful to because they make this all possible. There's a tweet there as well. Retweet the tweet. It helps us out. Please help us out. That's great. Also, you'll notice that today's goals are a little bigger than normal. It's because they're a day goal rather than stream goals. I'm sort of kind of low-key, high-key using this as a mini fundraiser because I'm broke after Gen Con. Let's go around and say hello to everyone. Julie, would you like to start or would you like to finish?
I can start. Hello, I'm Julie. I go by JGraveArt just about everywhere online. I guess I'm running this today. It's weird not introducing a character, but I get to be everyone else. I suppose aside from that, you can find me here on Mondays at 7 p.m. and Thursdays at 10 p.m. For Daenerys and Wardens, respectively. Aside from that, I don't know what else you want me to say.
What, would you like to introduce everyone else? Or would you prefer if I did that?
Sure. Let me see. If we go around, how about we start with Leonie?
Hello everyone, it is I, Glass and Gadgets, also known as Leonie, and today I am playing Amy Dubois, prima donna extraordinaire, and désolé pour mon français. That's going to happen a lot. So, yeah. I'll be in the chat as Goldheart Gaming, just so you don't get confused. I'll see you all soon.
All right, and how about Sarah?
Oh, hi, that's me. Yes, hello everyone. I am Sarah, also known as Sarah Somatic on Twitter. I DM and produce the actual play D&D podcast known as Sacrosanct RP, which you can find on Twitter. Today, I get to play Fiore. And oh boy, I'm excited because this character is very different from everyone else. No, we're going to have fun. We're going to have a whole lot of fun. Mm-hmm. That's all.
All right, continuing clockwise around, Bex.
Hi, I am Becca, Dread Pirate Bex on Twitter. I DM and produce the actual play podcast, The Dice Girls. And you can find us at The Dice Girls on Twitter. I'm playing Gidget Borado, who also goes by Inspector Gidget. I'm real excited for her. She is high intelligence, low wisdom, which is going to be an adventure for me. So I'm pretty excited to play her.
Nice. And last but certainly not least, Scratch.
Hi, I'm playing a halfling druid named Finnegan Swiftfoot. I rolled a nat 1 on every single HP roll. This is going to be great.
Cannot believe.
That was amazing.
I literally, as soon as it happened, I was like, I've waited for nearly 4,000 hours, and here we are at last. Copy paste, put into group chat. Hi.
Achievement goal.
Yeah. Yeah, that's an achievement right there. Achievement unlocked.
It really is.
Oh man.
Wow. Julie, the show is yours.
Okay. Well, I have some flavor text. Today's little story is called Lost in Paradise. So, adventurers of all makes are welcome here in Palace Ford, a brick and stone city built into the side of a mountain, something between a border town and a tourist attraction. Scrappy plants poke stubbornly from cracks in the rock, and in pots and hanging gardens about town. It's a close-knit community, widely varied in the stories they tell and the clothes they wear, but all share a common weathered air, like the windswept cobbled streets and stone walls they call home. You have to be tough to live up here in the thin air and temperamental climes. From up here, the Emilian Valley spreads wide before you, clouds alternately casting shade across rolling hills, winding bands of vineyards and farmland, with patches of forest and rocky bluffs scattered amongst them. There's a shoreline visible far to the west, just a glittering line in the distance. You all expressed an interest in a contract posted at the Adventurers Guild to enter said garden, or to enter a local botanical garden and aid one Remy St. Clair as he follows up on some first-hand accounts regarding a local legend. That's all you know so far, but the price was right, and he and the guildmaster, Gwendolyn Atwood, await you at the guild hall. How do you arrive, or are you already there? I will take volunteers.
I think I'm already there. I'll be hanging around the buffet table.
It's always a good one at the guild hall. There's food 24/7.
Yeah. And I resent stereotypes that paint halflings as food-munching, creatures, but also Finnegan is 100% hovering around the buffet because he's a food-munching monster.
That is good.
I think Gidget is probably already there. She would probably want to scope things out beforehand, before the actual quest gets started, and just poke around and probably question anyone who looks suspicious. She has no idea what she's investigating, but she's asking questions.
Fiore is also already there, and description-wise, pretty tall for a high elf and very slender. Wears some dark clothes, but maybe some shiny embellishments here and there. And he just sort of wanders aimlessly, keeps his hands behind his back in a very sort of poised look. And he has long, dark hair, like a dark brown that looks a little bit golden when the light slants in from the windows and reflects off of it. He just kind of is aloof from everyone else, but has a very nice smile.
We've gotten some looks, just admiring you, honestly, from a distance. Not everyone in here is the pretty sort, but you walked in and you're impressive.
When I catch eyes, I just wink.
You get some flustered kind of half blushes and looking away.
Well, not to break character, but I am fashionably late, and I will not arrive unless there is grand fanfare. So all eyes must be on me, which is how I arrive, and I am certainly not dressed for adventuring. I'm in a full gown.
Amazing. These doors just swing open, and you're standing there, silhouetted against the morning sun, and it's dazzling. And every head turns to look. And there's just a little hush. There's some music that kept going, but it kind of went a little quieter, and you hear it better now that everyone else is oh, wow.
Oh, my adoring public, have no fear, Amy Dubois is here to entertain you. But first I must sit down. This morning sun is just a little bit too much for my fair skin.
Someone in the back clapped when you introduced yourself, and then they just kind of petered off and when someone else looked at them, just but someone else kind of a maybe elderly man who has a very proper kind of vest, gets up and pulls out a chair for you near the bar and beckons your way. Oh, you're muted.
Oh no. I'm so flustered. Thank you, my darling. And I take a seat.
Barkeep kind of saunters up and is well, would you like anything this morning? We still have remainders of breakfast, our whole assortment of drinks, tea, coffee.
I will have champagne with orange juice, please.
That I can do. And as he's preparing that, you see from not around the bar, there's a door with kind of a window that a head peeks through, and someone you would recognize from being around town. Going out with the guildmaster. She was kind of keeping an eye out. And then when she saw May walk in, she comes out and you see a rather tall, broad human woman with a reddish, big hair. She definitely has a fighter air to her, but now she's here and she is very comfortable in her surroundings. And she'll kind of make her way over to you at the bar and also try and catch the eyes of the other two that she had heard were coming, and kind of waves.
I do come over with a flourish, pulling out one of the stools with a leather-gloved hand, and I sit down. It is morning, right? Yeah.
Yes.
Well, good morning.
Hello. Well, does Gidget come over as well?
Yes, yeah, Gidget definitely comes over and kind of like just waves at everybody. Like she's kind of dorky.
Whatever. So Gwen just kind of sits down and asks for another coffee. It looks like she might be on her third or fourth. But she looks at you all and says, "Oh, thank you for coming. I do have the details of your contract in my office, but we can either talk here." Remy himself is also here. I don't know where he went, but he should be around soon. We could take our time, but if there's anything you wanted to ask straight up, probably your person.
I look to the inquisitive one, which is
Yeah,
Gidget.
which is Gidget. Gidget is trying to think of what question to ask. Well, I guess let's start with what are we doing exactly?
All right. Well, so Mr. Sinclair, see, I guess he's an investigator of some sort. I didn't really catch his title or whatever it is that he claims, but no, he is looking into some stories that are coming out of the garden, specifically the forest part. If you looked past I'm sure you passed by it, the docks up to the east, there's that floating garden. It looks kind of like a staircase. It's like, anyway, that's Palace Arboretum. That tends to be kind of more of a tourist attraction, but now that we keep getting these weird stories coming out of it, people are avoiding it. So it's not really great for, local business. But yeah, it's been like sightings of some creature going around the woods, and the accounts are different, but I should probably let him say that. I just realized they're not here.
Finnegan may be unnoticeable slightly. He is here. He just gathered a big plate of food from the back, so it just kind of looks like there's a plate of food behind the adventurers. You might mistake him for a waiter until he slowly eats his way down and his head appears.
Not a stereotype, not a trope though.
No. Not true.
While you're over there, you see a gnome fellow with this wild, like, frizzy, also red hair, but like the fiery red variety. So piling some little cakes onto a plate, and looks over to you and she's like, "Well, hello. Don't really have any hands to hold, but Remy Sinclair at your service.
Finnegan Swiftfoot, hi.
Nice to meet you. I need to be getting to a meeting, but you're welcome to come along. Oh, there she is." And he bustles over to where Gwen and the
I think I'm also supposed to be in that meeting. I'm coming!
All right. And Gwen seeing him comes. She's like, oh, there he is. Okay. Here is your employer, I suppose. This is Remy Sinclair, and he pipes up and says, yeah, I am a journalist for the Weird Shift Gazette. You can see right here by this badge that I am the head of the cryptid department, and so I am here to check out these stories and see if I can get any real accounts. But I'm afraid of going alone, so I need some backup.
I put out a hand to him and I say, Fiore, charmed, of course.
Good to meet you.
Gidget also reaches out to shake his hand. I'm Inspector Gidget. You can call me. I'm on the case.
You seem mighty qualified, thanks. and you, man, you're very fancy.
Amy drains her flute. When do we get paid?
Well, this is when Gwen kind of leans in. Is well, how we tend to do it is we keep the payment here, and on your successful return or cancellation of the contract, that's when you collect, is when all comes back well and good.
I guess.
Can I insight check? Is it Amy or is it Ame?
Ame.
Ame. Can I insight check? I just wanted to see if she's really the adventuring type.
Do you want to counter with anything?
Yes, actually. 22 to my deception.
She must have a lot of daggers hidden in that very big skirt of hers. And see.
Yeah. Aside, I mean, well, I guess you've heard a bit about this. As far as payment, I've got 300 gold apiece. At least is the what I had budgeted. But we're not expecting any wildlife. I mean, this is a floating garden. There's not much but birds that can really get up there. But you know, there's weird stories, so let's be prepared for anything, right?
What kind of stories have you heard so far?
Well, mostly there's different sightings. Some creature that's just like too tall and kind of hunched over, and I mean, I thought it might be. I mean, you hear tales of Bigfoot, but you know, Yetis exist; they're real.
Perhaps it's just someone with a backache.
It could be, but it's no one's wanted to get close because I guess it kind of disappears in the woods, and there's this weird kind of not specters, but like shimmers in the air and weird plants that keep coming out, like growing out of nowhere, like on the side of a tree. There'll be a bright like pink flower or something. It's not normal for that part of the woods, and that you know, it's a very manicured sort of place. And I mean, it's like tall hunched creature is kind of where the common descriptions end. Besides that, some say it's like 8 feet tall, some say it's 20, some say it's like big lumbering things, some are like it's gaunt, pale, horns, hairy, whatever. And it's just, you know, there was one that I heard yesterday that was even like there's like a Hawaiian shirt pattern. I don't know what to think anymore.
So what you're telling us is that we're looking for something suspicious, but you don't know what it is.
I'm not sure, but the local legend, I suppose, that I've dug up is that someone got lost there a long time ago, so I don't know if this is some tourist who got lost or like an old caretaker. No one's really sure. It's been like a good decade, but I'm kind of thinking this might be that person who got kind of changed.
So you're having us chase fairy tales?
I mean, that's what I do.
I see.
So there's no reports of anyone getting hurt.
No, but people are kind of losing track of time when they go in there, and that's most of what's been turning people away. There's like this kind of vertigo kind of thing that some people have been feeling, and no one really wants to go anymore.
Well, I'm very interested in this.
Do you have any leads or proof?
I mean, that's what I'm on the hunt for, is the proof itself. But as far as leads, I know about where these sightings have all taken place. I mean, the forest kind of disc is not a huge piece of land. It's maybe only an acre or so. So for people to get lost in it, it's kind of unheard of.
Odd.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Chaos.
I get lost sometimes, so I get it.
I believe that.
I agree.
It's very true.
I mean, what I'd really like to get is a picture of this creature, at least. If we can find it and get close enough. And he holds up this funky little like copper contraption that looks almost like a wide set of goggles with a little flash on it. It is in fact a camera.
So you're gonna ask it to pose for a portrait?
Well, I mean, if we see it from a distance, I do that, but to get up close, I might need help, like with it as a distraction.
Are we trying to catch this creature or just see it?
Really, just see it, get a picture. I think that's enough. I mean, unless it's dangerous, then I don't know if we can handle it then, or we'll just let someone know here. You know, inform the local authorities or for folk who might look into it. And I'm not sure.
So it's kind of like a scavenger hunt.
Yeah.
I like it.
Maybe we could lure it out. Do we know what it eats or what it likes?
Halflings.
I hope not. I mean, what I've heard is that people who brought certain foods, like specifically, I think what I heard was like a fried chicken. It likes the smell of fried foods.
So a Hawaiian shirt, possibly, and fried chicken. Intimidating.
I mean, it's just one of the tales.
Who doesn't like fried chicken? Honestly.
Right?
It's very bad for the complexion.
It's fair, but
Oops.
we're cheating. Well, if everything's to your liking, I mean, we can sign kind of contracts and get going. I can tell you more about the place along the way. Bit of a walk.
I'm ready. Gidget like steps up to sign. She doesn't even read it. She's just like, she's excited for this adventure. Let's go. Let's go. Also, does the buffet have any fried chicken?
You know, it does. It's one of those places that serves chicken and waffles just as much as like the hearty kind of English breakfast.
So she's gonna sign the contract, and then she's just gonna like kind of aimlessly wander over to the buffet, and she has like a backpack. She's just gonna pile fried chicken in there. Like she's not wrapping it up in a napkin. She's just got to get this chicken
All
to
right.
lure this thing out. She doesn't even think about. Yeah, she just starts putting pieces of fried chicken in her backpack.
That hurts me so much.
Me too. But she would
Moment.
totally.
I need to get changed. I will be right back.
Alright.
The ladies' room? But
Yeah, and there's also like in rooms or like even the office.
Amy's gone for a while.
As soon as she steps out, Fiore says, well, this is going to take some time, I think. I suppose I'll just read the contract while I'm waiting.
Yeah. Kind of has the basic like any injury or death is not liable by the Adventurers Guild itself. Like you're taking on this risk yourself, and
Reasonable expectations.
and kind of outlines the general task is escort this person and keep him safe, and here's the payment and a place to sign, and that reward will be collected on completion. Gwen provides these, and she's really more there as like kind of a I don't know, to oversee more than anything else.
Finnegan will also sign. His signature looks like a little stick man with one arm blurred.
It's great.
I've signed the waiver.
Thank you, Finnegan.
Fiore's signature is the exact opposite. It is just so forward slanting cursive. It's so beautiful. It looks like it could be framed and put on a wall, and it goes off the line. Like there's a set amount of line you have to sign a name. It just goes right off, almost off the page.
Gidget's handwriting is very like a high school girl. Like there's a heart over the eye and everything. It's very loopy and like big and bubbly.
It's fabulous. We sit there with our drinks and await a mate.
It's gone for about an hour.
Oh my god.
I think. How far away is the bathroom? Like how far away is the changing room?
It's maybe like 20 feet.
Okay, after like 15 minutes, Gidget is gonna cast message, and she's gonna cast message to Ami and say, "Hey, everything okay in there?"
And you just get a reply. It's just really happy, and you're just almost done. But she makes you wait another 45.
She says she's almost done. She's almost done.
I have a
And
feeling that's not true.
Gidget says that. She repeats that for the next 45 minutes. She's almost done, guys. She's almost done.
And when Ami does rejoin the party, she's dressed in what a person who doesn't adventure thinks adventuring looks like.
Right.
And she doesn't have any visible weapons, but she is carrying a zither.
Nice.
There we go.
Exciting.
I just imagine her stepping out of the room with a
Yes.
flourish.
Yes, with a flash. And when it comes to her signature and signing the waiver, it's huge, center, also cursive, but like extra so. And she'll turn to our employer. And she'll be like, "You may keep that. My autograph."
Oh, thank you, miss. I'll keep it here for safekeeping for now. And Gwen honestly collects papers and puts them kind of in a folder with heads into her study office, and you see there's a box with a bag of assumedly gold, and that little box is locked and kept right there with contracts and payment. And
Fiore's face looks at Ame and just looks in a way of sort of, yes, now I understand. Everything makes sense now.
See, I told you she was almost done.
You did. Thank you.
Anytime.
Finnegan has eaten his way through most of the buffet.
we're going to have to roll him out.
He's just desperately trying to get more constitution.
We're just kind of like, don't overdo it. I mean, you might not feel so good after that. But I mean, you do you.
I'm just, just a light snack.
All right.
Chicken.
And he begins to lead the way out to these docks. It's almost a straight shot from the doors of the guild hall, and from there you kind of have to shade your eyes against not quite midday, but like going towards midday sun, and you spot the stairs and bridges kind of leading up to the east, rising to meet these high docks that are dotted with small airships that serve as a taxi service around the city. And beyond those lie several floating discs, like a giant staircase just hanging in the air, and they don't move, they're static, but they're not supported by anything in particular. You see kind of a shimmer of some magic barrier, I suppose, above each of them. And from here you can't really tell, but Remy tells you how there's many different magics that keep the weather consistent and protects these plants from the elements. And it truly is a botanical garden, and there's people who frequent it just to make sure that it's all taken care of. The topmost layer is more of like the shrubs and flowers and kind of butterfly garden variety, and the middle one is a bit more of like the fruiting trees and kind of smaller bush plants and flowering plants. And those two are still like being frequented, but the lowest layer, the lowest disc of these three is the forest area. So there's all kinds of trees that really shouldn't be growing together, but like they'll be coming from different original climates, but somehow they've been magicked together. So you'll have oak trees, palm trees, bamboo stands, all kinds of things, like mostly in some like organized by color more than actual climate or species. But all this he tells you as you get towards there, and as you're flying over, you get a little bit of a better view of these three. They kind of get bigger as like the topmost is the smallest in diameter, and the bottom is the widest. And do you want to go through walk through all of them, or just head straight to the forest area?
Well, my vote would just be get straight to business.
Sure.
Yeah. I think Gidget is ready to, and for the record, she has like already seen 17 clues that she thinks are related to this thing along the way. Like every time there's a footprint, every time there's like anything. So it's a clue. It's a clue. They're in the lowest disc. Okay, they're afraid of heights. That's it. Like she's seeing clues everywhere.
Love it. Yeah, so apparently the stories were stemming from kind of the bluish green section, being that they're arranged by color. There's the like blue pines and kind of more oak variety trees. And he points this out. There are paths, but it's not like so dense that you can't wander off and get to us. Like it's not that huge an area. I think I said an acre earlier. It is a little bit bigger. I think the top one is probably an acre garden space, but the lowest you can't really see like the edges of it unless you are on the edge, but once you're like in the trees, it does feel more like a forest.
I think as soon as they if they set down in the forest, as soon as they step foot into the forest, Gidget is gonna reach into her bag and pull out a piece of fried chicken and just start like wandering around. Here, monster, monster, monster. Here, monster, monster, and like waving the chicken around.
Well, I think that's very rude to just assume that someone's a monster.
That's fair. That's totally fair. Here, Hawaiian shirt person.
Beautiful.
Finnegan's
Like,
Finnegan's been pretty quiet on this walk, but they're like sort of chime in at this sort of moment. Do I need to be bait?
I don't.
I don't think so. I think maybe with the chicken, maybe it'll just come to us.
Yeah.
Or maybe
We could disguise you as a large chicken leg and then rub you with chicken so you smell like it.
That's a great idea.
I have a disguise kit.
Well, maybe that's a plan B and not a plan A.
Can I just get general perception checks from everyone?
Yeah.
I'm real great at perception, guys.
Wow, I hate this dice. I'm going to change it. So that's a 4 from me. I'm getting too obsessed with my cute ankle boots, which are starting to hurt.
Oh my gosh. Well, what everyone sees is that there are some like strange colors and things, like some like a bunch of leaves on this tree will have like an odd kind of bright blue or yellow or other neon color kind of rim to it, and another one will sparkle oddly, but you don't really think a whole lot of it. Fiore, what you see is these odd shimmers in the air, almost like kind of when you see like there's a hot surface and the air just kind of like wavers above it. It's kind of like that with a bit of a reflective thing. And it kind of catches your eye a couple times. You see them flutter around like either just on the side of a tree or hanging in the air. And they're not following any kind of pattern, but they're definitely there. And if you wanted to make a history or arcana.
I do. I was actually going to do one of those, and they're not great, either of them. So I'll just go with probably history. Did I hit it? Yeah.
Nice.
Wow.
Yeah. You've heard about this before. This usually means there is some sort of Feywild influence. And these particular kind of shimmers mean that the veil is thin here. Whether that's something that has happened only recently or was always there is still in question.
Cool. I have a notebook out. I'm taking notes just casually, not necessarily looking concerned or even different than just the usual resting smile face, I guess we could say. Mm-hmm. And there's no like trail that it creates. There's no necessarily direction it leads us in. It's just kind of happening around us.
Yeah. And it's not coming towards you. It's literally just static, like in the air, just kind of gently shifting.
Okay. I write down in my notebook, so apparently fae creatures like Hawaiian shirts and fried chicken. That's new. Okay. And then I look back at Gidget and I say, is the chicken working? Is the bait working? Have you seen anything?
I think it might be working. What do you I think she would notice that you had been writing and she would be very interested. What are you writing?
Poetry.
Did you find a clue?
No, it's poetry.
Ooh, I like poetry.
It's not finished yet. Do you write poetry?
No,
Oh.
but I like it.
Well, then poetry is not poetry till the last line is finished.
Okay. All right, fair. And she goes back to her. I think she's also like trying to look around, but she's mainly focused on the chicken and like wafting the scent in the air.
Mm-hmm.
She's
You
convinced.
definitely attracted some birds. There's like some. It took a while, but some crows have kind of unassumingly like schmoozed their way a little closer and are just kind of like watching.
I think every time she sees movement, she's gonna like swing in that direction and be like, oh, is that it? Is that the thing? Is that what we're looking for? I found it.
One of these crows is just like, ah.
She holds out some chicken to it.
It grabs it and like flies off, and two other ones like go after it. They like kind of travel over it. But...
Maybe it's a shapeshifter because that thing did like chicken.
That's a good point.
Oh, Gidget, didn't you say who doesn't like fried food?
That's also a good point.
Oh, yeah. We've got like the ultimate bait here. We could catch anything.
Except apparently what we came here for. Remy,
Yeah.
by any chance, do you know about where some of the people experience these sightings?
Well, it was kind of around this part. I think there might have been some around more than like purple-ish area, but I think it was mostly here. And he's looking around and he's like a little impatient, just that nothing has shown up. And he's honestly taken to like a little bit of nature photography while we've been looking around. But yeah, he kind of starts walking in the direction of this more purple tree area, where there's more of these plants. The kind of new, or not new, but the different looking ones that are more bright. And honestly, as you're passing by, there'll just be like a normal oak tree, and then bright orange ferns are bursting out of the side of it. And they're like very substantial.
Well, let's sojourn that way and see if we find this Hawaiian shirt. Gidget, do you want to keep waving that chicken around?
I didn't plan on stopping.
Sure.
May, what are you wearing? Specifically, like boots or
High-heeled ankle boots with leather pants, a long jacket, you know, like those military jackets.
Mm-hmm.
A little corset, so she can't really bend.
All right.
Yeah.
Just like some of
side purse.
the undergrowth has been kind of like catching on like the longer pieces of this coat, and there's not really brambles here so much as like a couple tiny little burrs that are off of, and even those are like sparkly. It's like you've gained glitter, like those little star sequins. That's what these little burrs look like.
So instead of looking disheveled, traipsing through this woods, I now look fabulous, is what you're telling me.
It's getting better every step.
I love this. But my feet are starting to hurt and I'm starting to complain.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's a little bit like that mix of soft and hard ground. It's not super solid.
Yeah, I'm trying to like hop from like soft ground to soft ground and avoid the hard bits.
Yeah.
How much longer?
As you follow Remy a little further into the woods, he seems to like stagger for a second, and but like he keeps walking. But as the rest of you follow, there's a weird kind of shift in the air. And could you all make Constitution saving throws?
Ooh.
Oh no!
Fun.
It's a 19 from me.
Oh,
All right.
I didn't. Did I? I didn't. Ooh!
Okay, well, none of you fall over. But this wave of vertigo just hits you all at once, and you have to like take a second to just like put a hand on a tree and just like, whew. And as you look around, there's like the immediate area is not that different, but it's like there's more of these weird plants, and it is humid, and it is sticky and hot.
Was it sticky and hot before?
It was warm, but like that kind of, I mean, you're up in kind of the mountains, and they kept it in within the garden a bit of like temperate temperature, and it's like you very noticeably humid.
So the feat that Gidget took is Keen Mind, which allows her to know how many hours until sunset or sunrise.
Mm-hmm.
Did that change from the time that they stepped into this different place? Would she have noticed a difference in like, oh, there used to be 6 hours before sunset and now there's 4?
What you notice is the sun hasn't changed in position so much. It doesn't really feel any different time of day, but there is another sun, and it seems to be moving a little faster than the normal one, I guess. Yeah, it's odd because as you look out, like before, you could kind of see open sky beyond the trees, but now what you see is a flat, marshy land. You're no longer in the mountains.
Gidget,
Yes.
I think I found the clue.
Is it the extra sun? Cause that's throwing me all off.
Oh no, it's just I felt a bit dizzy.
Yeah, me too. I think something happened.
I didn't feel anything at all. Not at all.
Gidget looks bewildered at that.
I saw you stagger though, Fiore.
No, that was definitely not anything related to that at all. It's this tree that I'm holding is just a very interesting looking tree. I was looking at it very closely.
Is it an interesting looking tree?
It's pretty neat, actually. It's like it was one of those kind of live oaks before, but it seems to have sprouted like this moss that's hanging from it. And even that has kind of a faint bioluminescence to it. This moss is everywhere.
I feel quite comfortable in nature. Is this tree going to kill my friend?
Make an insight check on the tree.
Could I persuade
qualifier.
you to let me use survival instead?
Sure.
Boy, howdy, am I glad I went survival.
This tree does not look immediately dangerous. However, there are very large ants climbing down the side of it that are
Like,
not heading towards Fiore, but like they're just kind of going up and down. But one of them seems kind of interested in his hand.
large ants, like large or like
Maybe that long.
okay, that's quite big.
Yeah.
It
My
seems you're
passive is
That's spot.
15. Would I notice that?
I think you would, like after a second, like after you've kind of like gained your bearings again and like look at the tree as Finnegan like mentioned it, you see these giant ants and
Oh, yes.
that's,
Yes, very interesting. Very interesting. Yes. Mhm.
that sure is nature.
That's a lot of nature right there. Yes.
I think we're somewhere new. I think we should keep looking for clues. And can Gidget? I think she would like. Can she just investigate maybe like the ground, maybe
Yeah.
looking for footprints or tracks or anything like that?
Absolutely. If anyone wants to do a perception or survival, I think would.
Oh, can I do investigation? Because I already did it.
Oh, sure. I mean, you were specifically looking for tracks, so I'll say yeah.
Okay.
Dang. Nice.
I'm still looking at that ant.
Yeah.
All of the ants.
I'm not doing investigate. I'm not being helpful. I'm sitting
Okay.
on a rock fanning myself.
All right. Yeah, no, it's hot. And it's
Yeah,
got layers.
I pulled a fan out my purse. I'm so prepared.
I'm glad. Remy himself is also just like, oh, that's a lot. And yeah, what you see around, let's see, I'll start with the tracks. You don't really see a lot of tracks like from creatures or other people there, but the ground itself is very soft. There's these areas that are almost entirely underwater. It's very marshy. It's not quite mud, but there are definitely muddy areas that you could point out and keep an eye out. I'm sorry about these shoes. And Finnegan, what you see is there was a bit of like a hush in the forest, but the bird sounds returned, and what's loudest, honestly, are like cicadas. And more like insect sounds than birds. There's some new additions, though. There were the birds before, but now there's like some more of that, I guess, calling that. And you even see a couple of blue jays. Like they're just around, and they're honestly very interested in all of you. There's maybe like 4 of them that have kind of flittered over and are just like looking at you and cawing. But you also spot like some ducks on the water and some little white birds with red beaks that are kind of curved, walking around in groups. They don't seem too like unsettled by all of you though. They kind of all looked and then went about their business.
Do these look like the kind of birds that typically appear on Hawaiian t-shirts?
Not quite, but you can keep your eye out. Another thing you spot is like almost all of the plants here have that odd kind of like super saturated candy-like.
I mean, he's pretty wise. Yeah, no, he'd definitely have this idea. Turn to Gidget and be like, Gidget, what if it's not a Hawaiian shirt? What if it's some kind of camouflage?
Ooh.
Yeah,
Well, thank you very much, Ed, who has stormed into chat and dropped a massive donation to give everyone an auto success and a roll on a random table. Julia, are we okay to do random rolls during your one shot? Is that cool?
Sure. yeah, I don't have a list, so if you could do that, that'd be great.
Sure, everyone will do 100 and I'll send Julie a bunch of fun things to do. Thank you so much, Ed. Wow.
Thank you.
39 from me.
Yeah, thank you.
9 from you, got it.
39.
39.
Mm-hmm.
How do I, in Roll20, do a D100?
/roll space D100.
Awesome.
Nice.
Thank you.
Nice. Yeah, I'll grab those and get them to you shortly.
No worries.
What if it's... Sorry, I completely missed what you said because I was taken aback by a large donation.
Yes.
What if it's a Hawaiian camouflage? It's camouflage.
I think you might be onto something. I think we should be looking for something we can't see.
But it seems kind of counterintuitive.
Finnegan picks up a stick. It's about 3 foot long, which is about as tall as he is.
Gidget is still waving her fried chicken. She's just doing it more grand gestures now. Like she's gonna hit whatever she's looking for that's camouflage.
Remy, with your camera, do you want to grab a photo of this? Because I think it might be worthwhile.
Yeah, I was thinking about that. If it's not
Part of
real,
the investigative process, yes.
You know when the nobility go hunting, they usually set food down, they hide, and they set a trap. We're all being kind of, loud. Perhaps if we put the chicken in a clearing, we hid it in a bush. But I'm just sitting here watching you fail at this. What do I know?
That sounds like a
feel
really
so
good idea.
strongly aligned with her that I just cannot speak. I have no words.
Gidget is like taken aback by this brilliant suggestion, and she immediately dumps all of the fried chicken from her bag. Like she just shakes her bag upside down so that all of the fried chicken and everything else comes tumbling out, and then she like quickly packs back everything except the fried chicken. There, we have a trap.
So now we should consider hiding.
Yes. But if we can't see the thing because it's wearing camouflage, how are we going to know when it's eating the chicken?
Because chicken disappears.
Good point.
Yeah, I figure it might
Very
be
good point.
floating for a little bit.
I knew chickens were fey creatures.
I suppose they're not fey creatures. Let's
Make this up for debate.
let's hide and see what happens.
Yeah.
I mean, it just suddenly disappears.
Gidget like looks around. Is Ami wearing a Hawaiian shirt now?
I cast invisibility, by the way.
Who kind of looks around and is like, well, if that was on purpose, that's handy. I'm gonna hide in this bush
Is
here.
she the thing? Is she the?
I mean, I don't know if she's been here before.
I will also try to hide.
Anyone trying to hide? General stealth checks.
Yeah, Gidget
I hide. I am
trying
hidden.
to duck behind a
Very
tree.
well
Maybe.
While this is going on, I just disappear.
I would like to wild shape into a cat and
Nice.
climb a tree.
What kind of
This-
cat?
It is a ferocious small black tabby.
Amazing. So he'll do. Except brown.
Like,
Oh, floof.
Yeah. Get off me, Mom.
So,
Does Gidget see Finnegan change into a cat? It's Finnegan. It's Finnegan. Finnegan's a shapeshifter. Finnegan's who I solved the puzzle.
Who's Gidget saying this to?
Anyone.
everyone.
She's shouting it. She's just so excited that she solved the mystery.
Remy will, like, honestly shift the camera up and just take a picture of Finnegan in the tree. This big old flash goes off. It's kind of terrible. Yeah. So,
And Finnegan likes fried chicken.
I guess. Well, let's see if anything else comes, and we'll kind of hunker down with his camera at the ready in this bush, and there's like a perfect little rectangle cut out of like the branches that he's just kind of shifted away, and yeah, you're quite well hidden, Fiore especially. The Blue Jays that were interested before have no idea where two of you have gone. But one of them kind of hops down into the bush that Remy's in and just kind of like pegs at the camera. And the other one honestly lands on a little branch above you, Gidget, and is just looking at you. And kind of like, it opens its beak, and what languages do you know?
Probably not bird, but oh no, it's the one thing I didn't write down on my she's a human, so common, I would guess, and I don't know if she gets another language or not, but
And she's American, so it's only common. And maybe like once in Spanish.
She does, however, have the spell comprehend languages. So if this bird is making sounds at her, I think she would immediately cast comprehend languages to see if she can understand what it's saying.
All right. I know that Fiore knows Sylvan. Does anyone else? Okay. Then if you do cast comprehend languages,
She does.
You two hear this bird just kind of like chatting to you, but it's mostly kind of confused and it's kind of like, what are you doing? Like, what are you hiding from?
I don't know if comprehend languages lets her speak it. I think she can just understand it. She tries to talk to the bird anyway. She in common would say, we're looking for the Hawaiian shirt person.
Oh, okay. You know, Jason, where are you? Another bird kind of hops over. It's like, hi, I know common. This is speaking to you in common now.
Have you I
Bird
don't
knows
think
more languages than Gidget does.
yeah, it does. I don't know that she even thinks it's weird that this bird is speaking common to her. I think she just have you seen the Hawaiian shirt person? They like fried chicken.
I mean, who doesn't?
Yeah, that's what I said too.
You just get a disembodied voice that goes, "Gidget, shh."
I'm talking to the birds. It's a clue.
Would which everyone understands, at least Jason.
I love this bird's name is Jason.
My partner's name's Jason. This is very weird.
That's hilarious. I have a friend named Jason.
Cats. They, you know, have seen this Hawaiian shirt. They're not sure what that means.
Right.
I don't think we know what it means.
No, we don't. That's fair. Fair.
But I mean, they do start like chattering about how they've been like, while you're here, why don't you talk to the squirrels as well, because they've been really annoying neighbors. And I mean, there's no fences to hug, but they, you know, they keep kind of fighting over the same acorns and the same like berries and stuff. But you know,
Do you have a homeowners association?
I mean, no, and they keep changing the zoning laws. It's awful. They're really just gossiping.
Yeah.
But they're really interested to see new faces.
I would also like to appear behind Gidget,
Okay.
almost a disembodied voice, and then just Gidget.
What?
Ask them if they've seen a creature between 8 feet and 20 feet tall.
Have you seen a creature between 8 and 20 feet tall, wearing a Hawaiian shirt, eating fried chicken?
That was a lot more than I actually said.
Well, you gotta cover all the bases, Fiore. That's what you do when you're looking for clues.
You're very right. Or at least you're not wrong.
Oh my
Gosh.
dear.
So, how big are these birds exactly?
They're like normal blue jay size. They're a little like brighter.
Anyone cares to look up in the tree? Finnegan's tail is swishing.
They're very distracted.
Doing that cat thing when they see birds.
Zoom eyes.
When they chatter at them.
Mhm.
Does Gidget see this? Does Gidget see Finnegan's tail swishing?
I mean, you're rather focused on the birds, but if you want to
Okay.
make a perception, or what is your passive perception?
Not great. It's 9.
All right. Well, I mean, if you're wanting to look around, like, I would say your gaze might wander over it if you wanted to make a perception check.
I think she will.
This is for kicks.
Just for, yeah. Not great.
You see a movement, but it doesn't register as Finnegan.
Okay, yeah.
It might
she
be
does.
another bird.
Yeah.
But yeah, you kind of look over, the chicken is still there. And it's like, you're uncertain if like the marshy smell might kind of disguise it. You didn't notice it so much at first, but now that you've been like sitting here for a little while, it's like, man, that's kind of everywhere, isn't it? This might be in my clothes for a few weeks. Or no, it's like days.
Okay, this isn't helping. Hey, birds. Friends. And I say it in Sylvan. Does anyone occupy this area who's much larger than you? Kind of closer to my height or bigger?
They think about it for a second, and to answer your previous question, they hadn't they don't know of anything really big. They mostly stick to kind of the trees, but like any really tall creatures. But they do mention that there's some kind of mousy folk that live here. they kind of look over at Remy and say, kind of like that size.
Do
They're
they
loud.
wear nice shirts with kind of exotic prints on them?
I mean, they're kind of bland, actually. A lot of like beige.
Mm.
I can't really see color though, so.
Well, you have a very nice blue hue to your feathers.
Oh, is that what I look like? Thank you.
The most adorable bird ever.
It's my favorite. But one of them is like, well, I mean, I saw one. They were making a camp not far from here. If you wanted me to take you there, and you could ask them yourself.
I think that would be excellent. And then I look to everyone else and say, so there's some people camping nearby that are closer to halfling size, gnome size. We can make our way that way and see if they've seen anything. Apparently they wear very beige, boring clothes.
Well, it can't hurt to ask.
It could, but I suppose that's regardless of the fact.
You kind of look around. One of the birds was going for this chicken. There were like 4 of them before, and the 2 that were talking to you were like having an actual conversation. The other 2 were actually like checking out this chicken, and they're more like about the breading. They really like this breading.
Yeah. Gidget like points at them and says, I found it. I found the thing we're looking for. Look, there it is.
So let's go meet these fine folk in the forest. Which bird was I talking to? Was I talking to Jason?
You're probably talking to both of them, but the one that was answering you and Sylvan is not Jason.
Yeah, how long have we been waiting?
This is all taking place. Like, you kind of waited for maybe 2-3 minutes before the birds really like started interrupting. So it's been maybe 10 at most.
But lost for an hour, so let me know when an hour has passed.
Okay.
I pounce on the chicken.
The chicken or the birds?
The chicken. Hopefully scaring the birds away from it. And if not scaring the birds away from it, then I'll do a no-claws bat.
You successfully spook these birds. One of them flies over the big old piece of like just hanging out of its beak, and it's like, I got it, friend. And it's like flying away. The one that's speaking to Sylvan before is just kind of like, is that your friend?
I think so.
Oh, okay. All right. Well,
he's not going to do anything.
No.
I will
He just
definitely
likes chicken.
Scoop up Finnecat with one of the pieces of chicken. Cat, chicken.
I think Gidget like scoops up the rest of the chicken in her arms. It's probably very greasy.
Yeah, it's kind of gross now that it's also like sat on the ground.
She doesn't notice.
Finnegan immediately starts playing with the chicken and not having thumbs anymore, is dropping it all over Fiore.
Of course, that's how it goes, isn't it? Are you a cat or are you a kitten? Because I think you're acting like a kitten.
Are you telling me that Hildy still acts like a kitten?
Yeah.
She's like over a year old. Okay.
That's still a kitten.
Yeah.
I guess I'm acting like a young cat, yes.
Okay.
All right. Yeah, as you follow this bird that's like flitting from kind of bush to bush and waiting, kind of like wow, I'm so much faster than you. And keeps going. There's still like some of those paths that you like encounter. It's not the same like manicured paths that were in the garden before, but you can at least avoid the swaths of very wet ground and kind of take these like game trails a little bit around. Seem to be packed down a little bit more solidly. And this bird stops kind of at the edge of what appears to be a clearing. Like you can kind of see over some of the bushes, and it's not entirely dry, but it's about as dry as you get here. And there's been some like reeds that have been pulled down and like packed flat, and there's a tiny little campfire, and yeah, it's where it kind of turns to you, Fiora, and it's just like, well, here we are.
Thank you.
Takes off. And Jason was just kind of like a silent companion this whole time. Was trying to get some chicken, but yeah.
Finnegan would like to change back into a halfling.
Okay.
Do you drop me?
Something.
Do you drop me?
You became so big, I was startled. You can't put this on me.
Hey! I'm not that big.
Well, you're not 1-year-old cat size.
I suppose that's valid.
Yeah. Do you get closer, enter the camp, or
I don't
want to
think-
check it out first, or?
Am I still invisible?
Yeah. This has maybe been 20 minutes.
Okay, yeah, you just see like the reeds just imprint, and it's just walking straight in.
All right. Well, from
Fiore will step off to the side and hide.
All right.
Gidget is like trying to be sneaky by like taking bigger like steps, like so there's fewer of them.
Yeah.
Is her logic here? I think. Yeah, she's trying to sneak in.
All right. I saw yours, so you don't know where he went.
Go on.
And you don't really. I mean, you still can't see Emmy, but you've noticed like where the footprints are, at least like as you've been walking together, and just like, oh, that's probably her. And yeah, Gidget, are you trying to enter this camp or just be around it and check it out?
I think she's just trying to check it out sneakily.
Okay.
Not very good, but
Yeah. What are you doing, Finnegan?
I mean, I'm not sneaking. I'm mostly picking myself up and dusting myself off.
Oh.
You know, wondering where. Well, I saw Emmy go invisible earlier, and
Right.
clearly Gidget isn't doing the best job of hiding. But I sort of like consider whether I should be stealthing myself, but I'm mostly just wiping grease and dust off myself, looking hurtly at Fiore.
Who's gone? Who vanished?
It was gone. You didn't see him leave. He just kind of stepped into the foliage and became one with it.
I look hurtly at the foliage.
oh, no.
Burn. Alright. Well, what you see, Emma, is this little camp is very small. There's only 2 creatures here, and they're the birds called them mousy. They're more like rat folk, except without tails. They just have the big, kind of pointed ears and a very long snout with little whiskers at the end of it. And they are, in fact, wearing very plain beige clothes. And it's more just like plain cotton, like undyed. And other varieties of brown with all kinds of like just grass stains, or there's probably a stain like up to maybe mid-thigh on them. They're small. They're like 3 foot max. And they're really just kind of sitting. Well, one is sitting by this little fire and mixing a little pot, and the other one is kind of going through bags near their little tent. And honestly, everything is very like proportional to them. Their pot is very small. Their little campfire is very small. Although one of them, I'm just gonna roll her. Let's see if I know this thing. Okay, well, the one who was kind of shuffling through the bags, like an ear twitches, and they kind of look around and don't spot you and me, but do kind of look in the direction of Kidget. And I don't think they see you right away, just due to bushes, but they definitely know someone's there. And the one kind of calls down and is like, hello?
Bonjour.
What? You're just a disappointed voice.
Do not be afraid.
How should I be feeling then?
Confused.
Okay, well, I got lots of that's happening. Doxy, friend. And the other one looks up and is like, what's going on?
I'm sorry to...
Great voice.
My name is Amel Dubois, but we'll get to that later. Sorry to intrude, but we wanted to ask, have you seen a large creature wearing brightly colored clothing, apparently?
Who's to say that's not you? I can't really see you.
Ah, so therefore you know that I'm not wearing brightly colored clothing.
Well, I mean, you're not bright, but I can't see you either.
But I'm asking about something you did see.
Oh, the one that was like not Doxy was still kind of looking over to where they heard a sound. Like, are you alone?
No.
Oh, well, you don't sound like the Shambler. Yeah, that. I don't know about a brightly colored shirt or nothing, but it's big.
What is this Shambler?
I mean, they kind of look at each other and wring their hands a little bit. He's scary. We try to not get close because he kind of leaves like dead thing, like rot in his wake. I mean, a lot of things are kind of dying around here. And it's like chiming in, like, yeah. I mean, like half the marsh is already dead, so it's like falling over. But point out some of these like almost petrified trees that don't really have a solid foothold anymore. But what you gather from their description is that it's a large creature of some sort. Maybe bipedal, maybe not. It's not like them, and they haven't really gotten a close look. But it seems to leave this kind of rot in its wake wherever it goes.
Where did you see it last so we can avoid it?
Well, the last I saw, well, I've seen it go in the direction of this maze. I think it lives there.
it's a little spooky, actually. So I've only got in the once, and I got lost for like 2 days. But then when I came back out, Doxy said that I was only gone like an hour. So I don't go there anymore.
Ah, time goes weird there. Well, Mercy, I'm sure the others will be around soon.
Okay. What do they want?
To ask you political questions, I assume.
Oh. Well,
I think they're nice. They're not a shambler.
okay, that's good. Do you want some lunch? We got. Well, there's only this, but we can make some more, and we've got some more in the tent.
This is within hearing distance, right?
Yeah.
Finnegan bursts into the scene. Hello! I heard there was lunch.
Yeah.
I didn't get it. Sorry, go ahead.
Rory does not.
They're just kind of surprised and
So when they initially called out, I think Gidget froze, and then like halfway through the conversation between me and what was the name of it? Did she get their name?
there's Doxy and the other one is Nyx.
Okay.
Yeah.
Halfway between their conversation, she like absentmindedly started eating some chicken.
Chicken.
Mom, chicken.
Yeah. And when they mention lunch, she's also gonna like step into the clearing and say, I brought chicken.
Oh, I like chicken.
Good.
Who
They
doesn't?
have chickens here. Mhm.
Further evidence there.
Are real creatures.
Definitely Faye.
Chickens do exist.
Chickens are universal. The one universal constant.
The only universal constant.
This is canon now.
Chickens.
Chickens. Remy kind of cautiously enters this little clearing as well, and he's been like honestly looking through like the Pathfinder or the viewfinder of his camera the whole time, and then puts it down. And he's like, well, I thought it might be kind of different if I looked through it. Maybe it would show me things that aren't there, but I'm not really seeing much. But I'm up for some lunch.
I started with lots of victuals, but I've eaten them.
I think Gidget tries to hand chicken to everybody. She hands out chicken.
Hey, Ame does not take your floor chicken.
She's a little confused as to why not. Which is it not spicy enough? She has Gidget's item that I have chosen for her is Hewer's handy spice pouch.
Oh bless.
So she can reach in and pull out any spice, name any non-magical spice, and she like reaches in, and she just says, you just hear her say behind her breath like pepper, and she like reaches into her pouch and sprinkles some pepper over the chicken and tries again to
I
hand
find it amazing that you think pepper is spicy. Just need to point that out.
Oh yeah, Becca doesn't.
Okay, I'm amazed. But Ami says, I'm not eating your floor chicken. It's been on the floor.
Oh, yeah, I guess it has. It's still good though.
It's
But
disgusting.
it was on the floor for less than 3 minutes, or 10 minutes. 3-minute rule.
Yeah, yep, he's right.
No, I refuse.
Are there any bugs on it?
No.
Then it's good.
I don't think there are any bugs. Are there any bugs on it?
No.
Okay.
There's
no.
not really any bugs on the ground. You've seen like maybe in like the pools of very still kind of stagnant water, you've seen those like little water spider things.
Yeah.
Just kind of fit across it, but nothing like that will crawl on it.
Yeah, she tries. She she does, I guess, to everyone who will take the chicken, she passes it out.
Doxy and Nyx are all about this chicken, and Doxy was the one who was cooking and is like enthralled with this like spice pouch that you pulled out. they also offer you some other like some of the, I guess, stew that they made, question mark. They have assorted mugs and things that they offer to you if you'd like any. And Nyx also pulls out some these little like bottles of things, like there's some like pickled beets, there's some like kind of a spinach spread of sorts that looks like it's been kept in like oil with maybe some olives as well. There's some others that like don't really seem to have names that you can put to them, but yeah, also have like some walnuts, and these are some of the random items they're appearing in this camp. And yeah, so they pull out all these little things, and there's honestly like a pretty decent little picnic lunch for you all.
While this is happening,
Yeah.
Fiore is still like in the greenery. He's going to go up to one of the petrified trees that was gestured to and
Yeah.
examine it.
Sure. Make this. I like a perception and an investigation, since you're out there kind of keeping an eye out, but also investigating this tree.
Okay, cool. Perception, investigation.
Damn.
All right. Checking out this tree. It seems to have died due to like too much water, and it seems to be like as if it was displaced here. And it's not something that would naturally grow in this climate. It's like, I'm not sure what type of tree it was, but now it is very smooth, and if you were to break off a branch of it, even it would be very light, as it's been hollowed out by imagine insects over time as it rotted. And there's many of these around, just kind of dotting, like breaking up the visible kind of tree line. There's the ones that are kind of at odd angles tend to be more of these petrified trees. And as you're looking around with that perception check, you see like these trails of sort of rot that seem to go in the same direction as some of these petrified trees. Like some of them may have been alive before this like rot trail happened to them. And it seems to be maybe like a 3 to 4 foot wide sort of swath that meanders, but there's a couple of them, and it has this almost like oil slick, gross black mud look to it, just the ground. And in the distance, you see a pair of oddly sickly green, kind of glowing eyes. Just for a moment. You blink and they're gone.
Cool.
But far away. Like at the end of one of these trails, you were kind of following them with your eyes and like seeing if they connected at all. And at the far end of this, there's this mist that kind of obscures, like maybe it's the humidity that just, there's so much water in the air that it just becomes kind of misty in the distance. But that's where you see it.
Fiore, who is, you know, kind of crouched on the ground, taking notes as he's looking this over, and just sees that and then just stops writing. Oh, of course. Yes, this is how this would play out. Do I know anything about any creatures that might follow some of these, I don't want to say symptoms, but traits.
See, if you get a little closer, there is one of these kind of rot trails that is nearby. If you wanted to investigate that, you could either go with investigation or arcana.
Let's go with investigation. Oops.
All right, it's pretty gross. But what you gather is that it's not the kind of rot that happens over time naturally. It is of a supernatural origin. And it happened all at once.
Okay. Fantastic. Well, then, I suppose I'm just going to step out of the bushes into the clearing and just... So I found something.
That's your little rat folk. Like, more friends. Do you want lunch, Jim?
I think I lost my appetite a bit.
Oh.
There's something in the woods, but I'm not sure what it is.
Gidget looks up from her lunch. She's like halfway. She's like forgotten why they're here. She's got lunch.
Valid.
She kind of like looks up and looks up at Fiore and says, "Was it wearing a Hawaiian shirt?"
I couldn't gather from this distance, but it did have glowing green eyes, and I felt like that was a little bit alarming. Potentially.
I think that's a clue.
I'm glad you deduced that.
Ruby seems very excited that we found something in the woods. And it's just like, well, do you think we'd follow it? I mean, do you think it's dangerous? Like, I don't want to... Like...
It could be dangerous if it's leaving trails of rot behind.
Oh, wouldn't that kind of like... And just the Doxy and Nyx and like, that's probably the Shanther.
Well, why don't we part with you, my furry friends, so that way you can be safe. And then we can pursue this. Oh, once you're done with your lunch, of course.
Oh, okay. Do you want to take anything with you? I mean, like snack for the road? I don't know how far. Which direction was it?
I think Fiore's already walked off in that direction.
Okay. I mean, last I remember, that's the direction the maze was. So if you're gonna go there, good luck.
How long has this been going on with this shambler thing? How long have they been here?
Look at each other. I mean, I don't think we were alive yet. I'm 3. Doxy, I think he's 5.
So more than 5 years?
I guess. We were always just kind of warned to like stay away from this guy, and I mean anything that kind of is leaving death in its wake. I think that's safe to avoid.
Reasonable. Yeah, I think we should go find out what it is. Maybe it knows who the Hawaiian shirt wearing creature is.
I mean, it seems reasonable to me.
Who all had some of their cooking?
I did. Gidget did.
Okay.
Definitely did.
Uh-oh. I don't like that question.
No, as you've been sitting there, like maybe within about 10 minutes, these little, like, tiny little vines, like little creepy vine, like creeper. The crawling vines, like the tiny little swirly ones, creep out of like your hair, kind of behind your ears, and form into a little flower crown, and bloom little flowers. They're different for each of you, and you now have +2 to wisdom-related checks for the next 8 hours.
Hey.
That's exciting and adorable.
I'm so upset, everybody.
Gidget is thrilled. She's like,
It's one of those where it's like you went to like scratch your head and you felt like little vines, and you were just like, oh.
she immediately comes to the conclusion that she must be turning into a plant person, and she excitedly shares that with everybody. I'm turning into a plant.
Me too. And I feel more wisdomous.
Ooh.
You notice now that the little the rat folk have a similar thing. The little vines are a little darker and they get a little lost in their fur. But what you thought might have been sort of like moss growing on them, kind of like how sloths do, you see these little leaves that are actually sticking out around their ears, and it's the kind of little the little vines kind of climb or crawl over the top of their ears, kind of like elf ear decoration almost.
Adorable.
But they wish you luck, and yeah, I think give you some snacks if you'd like any.
Gidget definitely takes snacks.
All right, they hand you some of the walnuts in like a tiny little bag, and some of the weird like spinach stuff that they seem to just like pour on top of like a leaf or a piece of bread or something that they've made, and that seems to be like their spread for it. But yeah.
In return, Gidget is going to like turn her head and whisper, "Paprika," and then she's gonna reach into her Hewitt's Handy Spice pouch and just hand them a little handful of paprika. Like, just
Oh bless.
dump it
Doxy's
into there.
so excited. She's like, oh, I gotta keep this. Okay. Finds a little satchel of sorts. Yeah. So as you go, I guess you follow Fiore, or at least head in that direction. Do you eventually like slow down to let them catch up?
I think I'm going to try to look for the eyes first to see if I
Okay.
can spot them again.
Sure.
Is that perception?
Yeah, let's go for perception.
Okay.
Okay.
An auto success. Is that too late to call?
I mean, if you want to use it for this.
No, I don't. I don't want to use it for this.
Okay.
Can Gidget also do perception check?
Yeah. As you're all going, you like to make perception checks.
Oh, and she gets what does she get to her wisdom
+2.
checks? +2. Okay. I did not type that in, so would that be 18?
I probably tried to do another stealth check because now I know there's something watching us. Does that count too?
Sure, you can.
Okay. Oh, that's low. Oh my god.
Yeah. We're probably reaching the hour mark for MA's invisibility. But like within about 5 minutes. Been keeping track. And as you kind of progress, Fiora, you don't see the eyes necessarily, but you do see these paths like these trails that this thing has left. Apparently, it doesn't do subtle, it seems. And there are some like tracks within it, but they're hard to really like place as far as a shape. There seems to be things dragging along with it. Like that might be what's causing kind of the rot, or maybe it's just its aura. It's hard to tell. But you get this idea of like a shambling gate, and that's why they call it that.
I don't like that.
But you do keep to kind of the undergrowth of like trees to either side of this, going towards where you saw those eyes before. It's honestly following this trail, and the mist is getting a little thicker. It's very lightly obscuring. Maybe 40 feet out is when you start not seeing things super clearly. Aside from that, Gidget, you also have now spotted these trails, and it seems to be where Fiore was going or headed.
Yeah, Gidget is definitely following. Is the mist, like you said, it's kind of obscuring maybe the vision a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
So, okay, Gidget still has she still has a piece of fried chicken in her hand that she's been waving. She's gonna cast light on it. So that,
Light up the chicken.
yes, she's casting light on the fried chicken so that she can.
Oh gosh.
This
She
is the new
can-
KFC special.
Yeah, she's casting light on the fried chicken to it sheds bright light in a 20-foot radius and dim light for an additional 20 feet. She can color the light however she likes. I think she's gonna try and match it to the chicken skin color.
Nice golden
Like
light.
Yep.
Okay.
Holy
That oily
chicken.
goodness. But it's
Yeah.
not like a healthy gold. It's like that oily, like olive oil,
Yeah.
kind of almost sickly. Okay.
Yep. Yeah.
Oh boy. Yeah. It glows. It doesn't give a ton of light, but it you see the ground a bit more clearly directly in front of you, and mostly it's those wet patches that will catch the light of it, and so you spot like puddles before you step in them, and it's helping. It's good.
Cool. Good deal.
Everyone's
will
looking out
step
for her.
up next to Gidget. Just appear from the forest. Right up
Whoa.
beside Gidget.
Where'd you come from? I thought I was following you.
A chicken light.
Yeah.
Very innovative.
Thank you.
Also, you are now a beacon in this dim light.
Well, we're trying to find this thing, aren't we?
Sure. I guess now it can find us first.
Well, even better.
Remy has kind of been sticking with Gidget for the most part, and seems to think this is a great idea. He's still looking through his little viewfinder every now and then, just to see if he could like spot anything different. Seems to be firmly of the belief that he will see supernatural things through a camera that he cannot see with the naked eye.
I think Gidget tells him to take a picture of the chicken.
Oh, good idea. He just kind of like lines it up. Oh, that's great.
Poses.
A picture of brave adventure that started me into the woods.
Yes.
Oh, bless. So, yeah, as you're following this trail, rest of you kind of you see this weird, gross bit. One second. Yeah, so like you're following it along, and it's okay. As you step through, there's an odd like it's that same sort of vertigo feeling, but it's off to the like it's the directional for some reason. It's almost like a pressure on your sinuses from that way, and there's like an odd pool that seems to be glowing very suddenly. Not a like bright light, but just enough to kind of illuminate Emma as she's just turning visible again. It's a very dramatic backlight, and it's quite nice actually. I mean, you kind of turn and it's like, oh, that's neat. And she doesn't seem to see the pool though. And as she steps right into it, she seems to fall directly in place. And the pool stops glowing. And she is gone.
Emma is gone.
She reappeared from her invisibility. And then walked into this portal, it seems.
That's interesting. Is there any sign of the portal thereafter?
It's if you the weird like fuzzy sinus pressure feeling went away as soon as it stopped glowing. And as you look around, it's like as you look around, like there is no sign of this really happening, other than you know she was here.
Hey May, where did you go?
Maybe she put on a Hawaiian shirt.
I do admit I did not witness this happening. Or are you insinuating that putting on a Hawaiian shirt makes you disappear?
Yes, camouflage, like Finnegan said earlier.
Ah, yes.
Yes.
Camouflage.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Well,
Can Gidget investigate the spot where the portal was?
sure.
Okay.
Yeah, just
I would also like to investigate.
yeah. This is over there. You see the surface of this water. There's little ripples in it as light rain starts to fall. It's not too bad just yet, but everything's kind of like holding his shirt over his camera and is a little like, oh, I hope that doesn't keep going. On those investigation rolls, I'd say it's you see since you saw the flickers and kind of weird shimmers in the air before, if you wanted to roll that at advantage.
Okay. Investigation.
That would be, yeah.
Okay.
Okay. It has that same quality to it. And it seems to have been just like a very momentary break in the veil. that would have been great if you were all there. You could just hop in and go home. But through it, you see, honestly, see a vision of MA, like almost from upside down, like as if you were like standing on a mirror, and she's looking around a little like, and like pats herself down and to walk off as if just pretending it didn't happen.
I'm writing
But-
this down in my notebook.
Mm-hmm. She
And
seems
then-
fine, and it seems like it very much looks like the forest you left. Like it's not a reflection of this one.
Well, everyone, I think we can just avoid stepping into portals, and we should be fine.
Is that what that was?
I mean, I just avoid the water.
Yeah, let's just avoid the water.
How are we going to avoid the water when it's raining?
That's a
Well,
really good point.
I'm going to druid craft my flower crown into a large, like, lily pad style umbrella.
I love it. Giant leaf sprouting from your head. Amazing.
That is so precious.
Is this just for you or to encompass others?
I guess I'll encompass the others.
Okay. When
Though
you
I
leave,
hadn't
pick
initially
them up.
I hadn't initially thought of that, but yes, I will.
Not that it really helps once we're standing again.
Right. Yes, that's very fair.
But you could use them as an umbrella.
I put up my hood instead.
All right. Well,
I could levitate him over us.
you can do
I
that.
can just make it taller. I put my hands on it like a telescope, like.
And- love this image.
Make it a bit
Yeah.
more
Long as you
girthy
can
to
put-
support the weight. There we go.
Perfect.
You now have a palm tree on top of your head.
I hope a wind doesn't kick up.
Oh, does this mean I get like bark skin helmet as well? Like.
Right.
It's weird to keep your balance. It takes a little getting used to, but after like a few steps, you're like, okay, I got this, and it's
Golden thread, spine straight.
Got this.
So with
Fiore keeps going.
with your umbrella tree and glowing chicken, you follow Fiore through this. It's getting more marshy, but you can still pick your way like around the standing water to try and avoid maybe falling into another realm. Ideally, this mist has kind of picked up, so it's a bit more. It's still only lightly obscuring it, but you can tell there is like it's a proper fog as you proceed, and it's taking a lot more time to like really find your footing as you're going, but it's a pretty clear trail, and you do find this you kind of arrive it almost suddenly because this fog does seem to obscure up to like 20 to 40 feet in front of you, so it's like this wall of just growth, like undergrowth that's just really tall, sort of just looms up out of this fog, and it's like had a series of thicker vines that crisscross between these trees, but there is a entrance. You look to the other side, and this wall, if it can even be called a wall, seems to stretch in both directions as far as you can see. It's kind of an arch of them.
Well, this is intimidating.
A puzzle.
You think we should knock?
Does it look like it's made of wood?
Very much.
I mean, knock on wood is generally a good thing.
Good point.
I'm just going to back out of the way for anyone who would like to knock.
Are you
Gidget's
sure?
gonna knock.
When you didn't take part last time, you missed out on the flower crown.
I did.
That's true.
This is a very good point. I would hate to miss out on the next flower crown, but I will take that sacrifice for the group.
I'm with you, Gidget.
Door.
Yeah,
Really, it's not a door. It's just like a really tall arched opening.
you're right.
Of these like viney bits.
Gidget's gonna like kind of like try to knock on the wall part
Yeah.
of it, and she's gonna kind of like peek her head in a little bit and say, "Hello, is anybody home?
It
We're
honestly,
investigating."
the wall it gives a little bit. It's like very green wood, so it doesn't make that really satisfying knocking sound. But after a few tries, you make it work. And this you don't really hear anything answer, but you do see some like a path sort of form in that direction that you're looking.
A path like it forms.
Like the fog kind of disperses a little bit and you see it better. It was there before, but the fog dispersing makes it a lot more visible.
I don't like that either.
I think they want us to come in. I think that's our invitation.
Sure. Do we want to lay down some chicken as sort of like beans marking the path that we've taken?
That's a
We have
good
enough?
idea.
Wait, but hey a minute, isn't there some... I feel extra wisdomous right now. When you leave edible trails, don't they disappear?
Let's
That's
not
true.
leave chicken.
Good point.
I don't know what to leave behind. How do we mark the trail?
Well,
Anybody got any rope?
how much
Oh,
time have you got? Because I've got rope, but I've only got 50 feet. But if we pick it apart into twine and then pick it apart into strings, I've got like 3 times 3, 9 times 50, nearly 1,000 feet of string.
And about 100 hours of time that will take.
Yes.
I'm not very good at math, so I don't know.
It's a long
Is
time.
there a non-edible spice? Gidget says.
Or a brightly colored spice that people don't normally eat outside of cooking. It's turmeric.
Yes, I can do that.
You're not supposed to eat turmeric?
Unless
Well,
you cook it or drink it. You just don't eat it raw. Someone's not going to scoop it up with like a brush.
Oh.
They might. Which is
I
pretty
thought that it was good for cold, so I've just been spooning it. This might be real Scrat
Okay.
talking.
So maybe not turmeric.
Mustard seed?
Maybe mustard seed? Yeah. Curry powder?
Won't they blow away?
There ain't much wind here.
Or get
This
washed
fog.
into the dirt?
I'm getting frustrated. I'm just going to go.
Oh, I know! And I'll just druid craft a flower that doesn't belong in this part of the forest.
All right. Some daisies.
There you go, daisies on the side of a tree.
Perfect.
Nice. We're just they're just gonna last.
Gidget follows Fiore in for sure.
I'm going to go as stealthy as possible.
Okay. Just like to roll stealth.
I should also roll stealth this time.
I don't know that. I don't think Gidget is trying to be stealthy. I think she thinks they've been invited in by this path, and she's just going.
All right. So I'm gonna say the folks who are trying to be stealthy are just being quiet, as there's not a whole lot of place to like hide, but you're just not drawing attention. And I think you're largely successful. You don't feel like you're being watched necessarily, and like the creature sounds seem to have died down quite a bit as you got closer to this maze, and now there's just the rain, really, and distant cicadas, which never really leave.
Oh, I hate that.
So, as you're going through this maze, it's odd because it was described to you as a maze and something that you would get lost in, but it only seems to have one path, and it does wind around quite a bit. You just kind of feel it's kind of like almost dizzy just from how quickly the turns are happening, and that seems to be more of just the turning happening rather than any magical effect or any other real force upon this place. But it's murky. There's a lot of that same kind of gross black muddy ground you can kind of edge around, but it lets out at a like, I guess a clearing. It feels more like a cave with where the walls have just gotten taller and taller as you've gotten further in. Before it was more just like maybe 5 feet, kind of like garden wall variety, but as you were going further, they were just growing up, and the vines were getting thicker and more leaves obscured it, and they were even getting a bit more thorny. It was like you had to keep your distance from these walls, and the path is not that wide. It's about maybe 5 to 10 feet wide, but to be really comfortable going, you had to go kind of single file, especially as more of these leaves and thorns kind of were produced. And yeah, you reach this kind of clearing that the vines and things have grown almost entirely up and over it, almost like a dome. And it's gross in here. I was kidding, like it already had that oily black mud that was ever so fragrant, but now there's even more pools of stagnant water dotting the area. There's like these rotted corpses of old plants, like where there were those petrified trees before. They seem to have grown as a rotting thing. It's like they have only ever been dead. And there's these crumbling statues that there were kind of elements of like paving stones every now and then, and those were the more solid ground that you could reach. And if anyone wanted to do a perception or investigation now to kind of look into how this structure.
My first good roll of the game.
Yay! You all did well. So, looking a little closer, the walls themselves don't seem to be fully organic. There is like a kind of stony base to it, but it's not. It is old. It's crumbled, and that's where these grown over kind of formations that are peeking out of the edges of this clearing. You notice they are sculptures, or they were. Hard to really see a shape at this point, but maybe they were people once. They're missing like arms and things, but it's mostly natural looking. It doesn't look like anything stormed through here and just deleted all the statues. It's like this just went to ruin. And at the edges of this clearing, there's a door. Almost inexplicably standing in the at the base of this tree, and it's ficus, where it looks almost like it's just all made of fruits. And it's not quite at the border of it, but this door is like standing kind of ahead of it. It is part of the tree, but the tree is not at the edge of the clearing.
Well, you have a door to knock on now.
I do.
And I have a place to hide while you do that.
Finnegan, I got to knock on the last one. Do you want to knock on this one?
Sure thing. And I think I'll just knock normally.
Can I hide normally?
I'll go and just knock normally.
It's right there next to you.
Oh, I have quite a deep knock, actually.
Ooh, that's a low.
It's all right.
With a plus 11 modifier, I mean.
Yeah.
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 I knock.
So, you knock. It swings open.
Oh!
Yeah.
Hello.
But the door opened, so I'm just coming in.
Remy kind of looks around the other side, and there's nowhere for this door to go.
Oh.
But it's open.
Can Gidget stick the chicken light through it?
Absolutely.
Not a sentence I thought I'd say out loud today.
Where you stick it through, do you like stick just the chicken or like part of your arm as well?
Oh yeah, her hand.
Okay.
And the chicken light.
At kind of the boundary, you didn't expect to. You don't feel anything, but at the boundary of where that door would be, your hand and the chicken vanishes. It's just like it just ends there.
Hey,
Pull it back.
I think I found a
still there.
clue. I think this is a clue. And she just like she just goes back and forth a couple of times, like in and out and in and with the chicken light.
I would like to put my finger in.
It too disappears.
I remove my finger. Is my finger still okay?
Yeah. If anything, you felt a bit of a breeze on the other side.
Oh.
In stark contrast to here, where it's just...
I put my finger away. It feels cool on the other side, and I jump through.
There he goes. Remy's been like taking pictures of this giant tree and this door that seems to go nowhere yet clearly does. Looks over, she's like, oh, all right.
Gidget says, Remy, take a picture of this, and she sticks just her head through.
He does. He's a little like, okay.
Does she see anything when she sticks her head through?
Yeah, on the other side, I mean, you're kind of like, are you looking all around or just kind of vaguely at
She's just like,
the
yeah,
ground or something?
she sticks her head through and just, she's probably looking for Finnegan, I would
Right.
assume.
You see Finnegan kind of sprawled in the sand. And it seems there was a little bit of a step down that he didn't expect. And it's not like a lot, but as you look down, it's like, okay, there's a bit of a slope. But yeah, there's sand, and you hear like ocean waves. And there's not much else right now. Like that, I mean, as you're just kind of taking a quick look.
Yeah.
I don't know how long you're standing there.
Probably not too long. She just
Okay.
long enough to say, Finnegan, there's a step there, and then she pulls her head back out.
Oh, what a beach.
Oh no.
Took me 3 seconds to get 3 whole seconds before I got it.
Harvey calls. I mean, are you all right? Is Finnegan all right? Where to go?
Well, he fell. There's a step down, but it looks, there's lots of sand.
Okay, well, at least that's a soft landing. Where the? Oh, there he is.
Yeah, right. Like, where were you hiding? Behind the
Me.
tree. Yeah.
Probably behind one of the statues.
Okay.
And I am keeping an eye out to see if anyone is like watching us from behind or followed us.
It seems that the fog has kind of filled in, not blocking your way or anything, but just as it was displaced before, it's just kind of resettled. And you see a rather large centipede kind of crawl around this statue and just kind of stop when it sees you.
In Sylvan, I will say hello.
It like clicks at you and crawls away.
Yeah, of course, this is how this would go. I'm gonna wait until the other two go through, and I'm just gonna keep a lookout.
I think Gidget turns to Remy and Fiore and says, I think the doorway is the clue. Let's go. And she just walks through.
And he's like, well, I guess whenever you're ready.
It just steps through too. Forgot about the stair that you just mentioned. And I wanted to know.
Is there like any marking on the doors or any sign of magic or arcane?
Let's see. You are practiced in some magics, being the arcane trickster. You get a vibe from it. If you wanted to do like an arcana check, you may need to get closer to it, unless you wanted a general like everything feels like magic kind of
I
thing.
will get up close to it and investigate like around the door frame, around the tree frame. Can I do investigation or should I do arcana?
If you're looking, let's see. I'd say if you were doing investigation, it might be more for like runes and things that are like inscribed on the door. If you just wanted a general vibe of the kind of magic that it might be, then it would be more arcana.
Okay, I'm gonna go with arcana. Hey, that's not bad.
Yeah, it's pretty good. There's it's definitely an illusion of some sort, but whether that's combined with a like transportation type magic. It's unclear. You look at the other side, it's like that doesn't make sense. So there's something going on, but it otherwise is a pretty average door.
I hate this. I was considering taking Identified. I didn't, so I hate this. I'm going to grab like a tree branch or something and wedge it between the door or in the doorway.
Okay.
So I can't.
Gotcha. Okay, I see what you mean.
And then I'm going to go through.
Okay.
Like this. Knowing that there's a step down.
Okay. You kind of like feel like just shuffle your foot forward and so you feel the edge of the step kind of thing.
Yeah.
Step down. All right. Yeah, no, you don't have that funny fuzzy headspace feeling like with the portals before. This seems to be very straightforward, stepping into another part of probably the same place but just somewhere else. You hear seagulls and a you hear the ocean. You hear I guess your footsteps in the sand, and as you finally step through, you also hear a voice call from, I can't really tell how far away, but from the direction of the water, and say, "See, I left the door open for you."
Do we see them?
You uncovered your eyes.
I put on a pair of sunglasses.
Okay. Real cool. What you see is this table almost sitting in the edge of the water, and several chairs and a couple pitchers of something. And this, I'm not sure if you would call it a man, but a very long creature of some sort. Like all of his limbs and things seem to be a little too long, and there's parts that are like overgrown with moss and little like branches are sticking out. There's these weird markings like all over his face, that has these very like sunken eyes that glow that same green that you saw before, and very matted hair, and a shirt that may have once been a Hawaiian print. It seems to be very ragged, though. And he's just got, like, his feet kicked up on another one of the chairs. And it's very casual. He looks over to you.
Gidget, when she sees him, like, leans over to Remy and says, "Quick, take a picture! We found it!"
Remy is just like, he could, as he had stumbled through the door as well, he is scrabbling for his camera, and the creature over there, it's like, yeah, shouldn't you ask for permission to take a picture? And he just snaps his fingers, and Remy disappears from where he was and appears at the table, rooted to the spot, with those same vines that made up the walls of the maze before. I just wanted to talk. Whole gang's here now.
Yeah, I liked you preaching consent until you did that without consent.
Yeah.
Yeah.
do you want some chicken? And Gidget holds out. Gidget is going to dismiss the light spell from the piece of chicken and like I don't know how far she is. If she's far away, she'll approach him and offer him.
You're maybe
She
like
approaches
30
chicken
feet
first.
away. Chicken first.
Yeah, chicken first. She approaches as like a peace offering.
That's more like it. And is very interested in this chicken. And holds out a very large hand for this chicken. And waits.
Gidget would kind of like go over and maybe just like carefully drop the chicken into his hand.
Alright.
If she can do that.
It seems to just like this is the wrong word. It seems to just be taken in by his hand.
It disappears?
It gently sinks into the hand. And he kind of leans back, just like, oh, that's nice. I haven't had that in a long time. You want some tea? I got sweet tea, unsweet tea. I didn't know which you might prefer.
Ah, I would love some tea. I missed second breakfast 11s and afternoon snack. I would love some tea.
He gestures to this table. Let's
Which-
just set up chairs for everyone.
Finnegan just sort of like trots up and comes and sits on a chair expecting food.
Did Remy get locked into the chair, or did he just plop into it?
He was kind of like clamped into it by these vines, but as Gidget made this peace offering, they receded, and now he's just kind of sitting there like, that just happened. And is looking very nervously from like you guys to this weird man, back to the tea, and then back to you guys, and just kind of like, well, may I take a picture, sir? I'm sorry. That was rude. My name is Remy St. Clair. And what might we call you? And the man just kind of leans back and he's like, I don't right remember.
How about Bob? Thank you very much, Kentucky Hawkeye, who's just donated to give us all advantage.
Yay! Just kind of leans back and is like, this. Good name. Well, tea?
Yes. Gidget is gonna sit down and look kind of questioningly at the creature, at Bob, and she's gonna say, so you knew we were coming? You were expecting us?
Well, no one's really come in further. They just... Nobody wants to have tea with me. Yeah, I like this one. Everyone always ran away.
Can Gidget cast Detect Thoughts? on this creature?
Sure.
Okay. It says that you can focus your mind on any one creature. Let's see. You initially learn the surface thoughts of the creature, what is most on its mind at that moment.
All right. It doesn't matter if there's a save because he could not make it. I will
Okay.
tell you now.
Okay.
I just looked at this. It's terrible. But
Doesn't look like there's a save. Unless I like probe deeper. I
right,
think
that's
is
what it
when they
was.
have a
Okay.
chance to save it, yeah.
Yeah. What is you just get this sense of loneliness and like being kind of lost and confused. And that's most of it. It doesn't feel like he doesn't feel like this is home. While he looks comfortable, like where he's sitting like casual, this also isn't like his place necessarily.
I don't think she's gonna probe any deeper. But I think she's gonna kind of tilt her head at him and say, "Do you live here?"
Yeah, it's. I haven't really been able to leave.
When he says that, she's gonna look back to where they stepped through. Is the
Door's still
door
there.
okay?
And you can actually see where you came from beyond it.
Oh, okay.
It's like standing by itself on like a dune.
Yeah.
Shouldn't be able to stand, but it's there, and you can just see what was there in the maze beyond it.
Do I know what kind of creature he is?
I think, oh god. General history?
Okay. I'm going to use
Yeah.
advantage.
Hey.
Yeah, I think all my int stuff is the same. Ooh.
Alright. Cool. Nice. So what you know, you may not know exactly what this creature is, but given the information that you have of maybe someone having gotten lost in the woods and this being kind of fey-ish, you know that there are places and things that are going to happen to a person when they are on a different plane than they are used to, or they can become kind of subject to a bit of a chaotic influence. And that seems to be what's happened here, is that this may have been a person before, you're unclear of like the culture, but he's changed from this place. Which is interesting, because looking around, it seems very like tranquil. It's like a nice beach, and granted, it goes indefinitely. But
So I have no idea like where this beach is, I guess.
it feels like you are still in the same realm, I suppose, that you were before. Like, if it was the Feywild, it's probably somewhere within it. Just like a different part of the world, I suppose. within that layer.
Uh-oh. So, okay. I feel like Fiore comes over, but definitely doesn't sit in one of the chairs, just politely stands there. And then says, "Do you remember how you got here, friend?"
He has a real long think as he takes a swig of his tea. And I think I was visiting a garden. Hmm. I can go back there, but I can't seem to leave.
What happens when you try to leave?
I just wind up back here.
Was the door open for you before?
Well, I made that one, but I walked a long time to get here.
Is there something you're carrying, arcane or otherwise?
Like what?
Oh, I don't know. An anchor that would hold you here?
Looks and he honestly turns out his pockets, and there's not a whole lot there beyond some old plant matter. But he does find a walnut similar to the one that you had picked up before from Nix and Doxy. I was like, oh. And he honestly just like pops the whole thing in his mouth. And the crunch is awful. But he seems to be enjoying it. Chews it kind of like gum. I don't really know. I think I came with friends. I don't remember their names.
Why don't we just take you back, and when whatever it is tries to pull you back, we just hold on to your hand, as long as we don't get absorbed like the chicken, and then just hold you where we are.
He
Yeah.
takes a second to like for this idea to kind of sink in. But just a very slow like turn from the contemplative look to a weird smile. He's clearly happy, but it looks wrong on his face.
Oh, don't do that. That. Oh dear.
Can you do that for me?
Well, I don't see why not. If you want to go home, you should be able to go home.
Well, I'm willing to try. Takes,
Okay.
like one of these pitchers of tea and gets up, and he's a good 10 feet tall when it actually like stands up to the full height, and there's this creaking like an old tree as he gets up. And yeah.
Can Gidget cast Detect Magic on him?
Sure.
Okay. I think she's gonna do that. So, sorry, give me a sec. It says, I sense the presence of magic within 30 feet of me. If I sense magic in this way, I can use my action to see a faint aura around any visible creature or object in the area that bears magic, and I learn its school of magic, if any.
Okay. You get a couple different little pings, and there's one that's like a you didn't really see it before, but there's like kind of a bolo tie kind of thing that is attaches to a hat that was just like it's just like often like on his back kind of thing, and that little tie is what like keep it on, like very dad hat kind of thing. And that's there, and it's got a I'd say like a wow. I need to actually keep a list of like the schools of magic. One that would you get the vibe that it might keep moisture off your head. It was once a cool hat. It's kind of like grown over and like stuck to it now. Same with like there's traces of like a belt that might have been had something to it at one point, but it's very faint and seems to have like worn off at this point.
Okay.
Aside from that, he doesn't give a specific magical vibe. If anything, it feels very similar to the rest of like the plant life that you've encountered while you were exploring this forest.
Okay.
Okay. Test handhold.
Just like him, just very slowly down, and it's weird because like you'd think being as tall as he is that you wouldn't be able to reach his hands, but his arms are that long, and just kind of like hold on to your hand with like two fingers kind of thing.
And I don't get absorbed.
No,
Okay.
and there's no other ill effects. But he has this is pitcher of sweet tea in the other hand, and is drinking liberally from it.
Can I use Druidcraft to like do a little bit of tree surgery on him?
Okay.
Just like, you know, reinvigorate the sap. Maybe, you know, heal some of them arthritic pains.
All right.
That's the most precious.
You see some of these like kind of barky bits to him that look quite a bit healthier, and like the moss growing on them is not what like a fungus anymore. It's like that healthy green moss, and he seems to appreciate the gesture. Just that same awful smile. In fact, he hasn't really stopped, and it keeps getting wider now that you keep doing nice things.
This person's nice, we should help them.
Okay, well, let's try to take them back then.
Yes.
Alright. As he walks, he does leave this icky black trail. Still, it seems just like ooze off of his like legs that look more like a jumble of roots that just kind of grasp at the ground. And
We need to get you some shoes, my friend.
yeah, they're gnarly in every sense of the word.
And does that look like the rot?
It does. It doesn't seem to have as much of a an effect here, being that there's no plant life to die. There because it's just sand, but there is kind of an oily look to the water where he was kind of standing before, or at least where his feet were when you were sitting at this table.
I have a question.
Yes.
It's a bit left field,
Okay.
but he looks mostly plant-based, right?
Yeah, like shape of maybe a person once, but has become very planty.
So, potentially I could eat him. Potentially.
Given enough time, maybe?
Could I then try casting Purify Food?
Oh my god! don't think
Does this work on semantics?
Oh my
That's,
goodness.
honestly, he's more than a 5-foot radius sphere. That is the main thing that I would go on. Also, he's not yet food. If you could, like, killed him and chopped him up and were planning to eat him as, like, a very chicken ham soup, then
It's a good ruling.
I'd probably allow it. But
Fair.
It would be like eating a bundle of cattails, but the less edible part.
yeah,
Only you would do that to a new DM Scrat. Yeah, yeah. You made a good call there. Good call. That's definitely not okay.
nice try though. I like it. Creative. But yeah, as you like walk kind of towards this door, he was like, "Oh wait, can you hold this?" and hands the pitcher over to Finnegan, or if anyone else offers. Just like that, it has lemon slices and everything,
Beautiful.
and somehow there was ice. But he hands you this pitcher and kind of draws a weird symbol in the air that it's almost like a how can I say this? It's like a arc, but it's kind of like an outline to it, and the space that you see on the other side of this door is the forest that you left earlier today. Although it does seem later in the day, like more evening. But you recognize some of the path, and yeah, it's there, and like, well, there's I guess where you came from. At least that's where I saw you came from.
Is that where you're going?
I'd like to.
Then let's go.
We'll take you back to the guild house. They'll love you.
Probably not.
Alright. That sounds nice. Somehow he like kind of hunches to get in through this door. Even though he made this door, get the idea that maybe he grew a little since he made the door. But yeah, no, he walks out of this forest, and oddly enough, he seems to be able to walk with you, and he's very surprised by this.
I keep a firm grip.
And since I know I need to wrap up quickly, I will just epilogue. So as you try to leave this place, he's a little big to get on the same little taxi airship. So you got another one for him, but you learn that it's been about a day that you were gone, and there wasn't really there was a search effort being commenced. But for the most part, it's you're just kind of like, I'll be fine. But yeah, no, as you return with this monstrous man, he is able to come with you, and he's very bewildered by this fact. And what you Remy, after everything, wants a group photo, and in fact takes, or like has someone take a group photo with him and this man and all of you, and they do. We find MA in her glorious. She's back in her ball gown and very well put together. She kind of stuck around for like there was a nice wine that they were debuting, but that's she manages to be part of this photo. And Remy invites you to his gallery show of nature photography because that's his hobby on the side, which will include this great image. And yeah, you get paid, and the guild is a little like, what did you do? What is this? But they have some people looking into it. And after a bit of investigation, this was in fact a tourist who did get stuck in the Feywild. They don't find his name, but they do figure out, as his memories sort of come back, that he came from a place called Florida.
Of course.
Yeah. Of course. Of course, this is how this would go.
Of course, Florida. Yes. Love it.
Well, that does bring us to the end of the stream. Julie, thank you so much. What a great job.
Wonderful.
I didn't do a whole lot, but it was
No, it's so
Awesome.
It was silly, and that's what I wanted.
That was great.
Now, we are getting right up to time. So let's go around and do a very quick recap, a quick wrap up if you don't mind. I'll do a quick one for Leonie. Unfortunately, Leonie had to run, but I'll put their links in chat anyway. You guys should go and check them out because they're awesome. They also want me to plug their show. I don't know if it's going live or not because they had to run. So maybe they won't be doing that. I don't know. Go and check them out. Let's go around. Let's say hi to Bex.
Hi, I'm Dread Pirate Bex on Twitter. I DM for the Dice Girls, which you can find at the Dice Girls. And I had a great time. Thank you so much, Julie. This was so much fun.
So good. So good. And Sarah.
Hello, that's me. You can find me at Sarah Somatic on Twitter, and I do DM and produce the Sacrosanct RP D&D actual play podcast. I do have to say that Fiore didn't get to reveal, but he is part of the competitive newspaper called Phantasmic Times.
Nice.
And definitely did write an amazing article on what happened, and that contested really with what Remy just wrote. Ta-da.
That's so cool.
Oh
You're
my
fans
god.
of both. They flame each other on the boards for the next
Yes.
months.
I was going to use Mage Hand to pop the door on the camera so that I could expose the film to light, but then I just
Selfie.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. Well, last but most certainly not least, Julie.
Hi, I'm Julie. I go by JGraveArt. Mostly active on Twitter. I do art. I play a lot of games here. This season, I'm here on Mondays for Dunera and Thursdays for Rise of the Wardens, and I do art for both of those shows. So it's a good time. I'm really glad that we had fun. There was so many different paths that we could have taken with this, honestly. But I'm glad we went with the very diplomatic route and saved Florida Man.
Yay. He was precious. He was precious.
Well, everyone, I very much enjoyed myself. I'm going to put some closing links in the chat. Check all them out. I will say check out Mage Hand Press and Bird and Storm Publishing because they're our sponsors that make this possible. So go and put traffic their way because it just helps everyone. Just go and put more traffic towards their website. That'd be fantastic. I'm going to put 20 minutes on the clock. We'll be back in 20 minutes with... Bakura Zarafa. I can never remember how you pronounce that. But essentially, they're going to be running some more D&D. So, yay! We'll be back in around 20 minutes. Until then, I'll catch you later, everyone. Bye.
Bye.